What is going on, guys? Panther here, and we are bringing you our BBR season. I think they're on season 8 draft analysis here for the Carolina Fables. So, um, didn't have the best BBR season in season 7, which was my return to draft league after a little over 2 years off. Did not finish so great. I did do much better in the low tier league that I played in. Finished as the first seed in that league. I did get to win some awards. Won Coach of the Season there, MVP in Heracross. So I had a lot of fun with the low tier league that I just played in with LTM. And yeah, we got asked to come back for BBR Season 8. So here we are with our BBR Season 8 draft analysis. Unfortunately, we got a pretty bad pick. We picked 12th, and the board was reduced a whole lot from last season. So things like Dragapult and Deoxys Speed, and there were some others as well that ended up getting banned this season. Let me see if I can see um, what else got banned. I'm looking at the ban list right now. What else was allowed last season that got banned? I guess more specifically. Um, Honestly, it looks like those are the two big ones. Deoxys Speed and Dragapult. So those two were off the board. So it, in my opinion, it watered down the board a little bit more. Things like Darkrai were allowed this season, where it was not last season. But going into this, I really wanted to try a new Mon again. So my idea, what I wanted was Valiant, Iron Valiant. It lasted, I think, to pick 5 last season, but it went pick 1 this season. So that was the thing on the top of my list that I wanted to try. Also wanted to try Great Tusk, Palafin, and Gouging Fire as well. All of those went before I got to pick. So I'm like, well, I can go with Old Faithful Garchomp if it falls. Did not fall to me. So when it was my turn to pick, I think the only thing that was left from the 18 point tier was Tornadus T. And I'm not the biggest Tornadus fan. So I know I got a little bit more of an accurate move with Bleak Windstorm this generation. I've never been the biggest Torn T fan. It's a fantastic pivot, but just my flying type lacking defog, that just gives me some concerns. Um, Latios had went the pick before. I would have taken Latios if it would have fell to me, for sure. So I had Ursaluna Blood Moon was gone, Greninja was gone. So I had like the choice here from 18 Tornadus Therian, from 17 Iron Bundle, which that was a part of the massacre last season. Not an Iron Bundle fan. It was Iron Bundle Zapdos in 17. That was it. So that was what I had to pick from. Looking down at 16, I could take something like Landorus I could take something like Chi Yu. But none of those really caught my interest. And especially seeing as how I do want to perform better this season, I dialed up something that I know how reliable it is. Even though it's only in the 15 point tier, I know that I can build a team around this guy. I've had a lot of success with this guy in the past. I had it the very first season of APA Wi-Fi ever and led the league in kills with it with 20. Was pretty confident taking this guy and getting to build my team around it. And so you can see with the first pick, round 12, we decided to go, or pick 12 of round 1, we decided to go with Excadrill. So you already know the direction of this team. If you pick Excadrill, you're going to pick Sand at some point in the draft. But this, I mean, everyone knows what Excadrill does. Sand Rush Sweeper. It does have another good ability with Mold Breaker. Swords Dance. Rapid Spin boosting speed since Gen 7, which is the last time I played was Gen 7. Is another big plus for this guy. So it seems like this guy only got better. You know, I think it's a very good mod. So you know what you have to beat with this. You have to beat the fat flying types. You have to beat the bulky grass types. So And Tyranitar helps you check that flying type at least. So I know I want Tyranitar to round out this core. I do have Hippowdon as an option if something were to go wrong. And that's actually what happened APA Season 1. I ended up having Gigalith as my sand setter, and it actually performed really well. Gigalith is really underrated in my opinion. But anyway, so I picked Drill, and so I didn't have to wait long for me to pick again. I really wanted to try Raging Bolt. But if I'm thinking in my head, if I'm like, well, I take Excadrill, and this Raging Bolt doesn't help me beat those grass types that I need. I need something consistent, and I don't want to rely on Excadrill to be my hazard removal option either. So the next best grass killer on the board adds a nice speed tier to my team. We have Cinderace. So picked up Cinderace with the second pick. It is Libero Cinderace. Obviously, we know that it gets court change. I've never drafted this guy before. So I have the sand with a new guy so far. So I've got the rabbit here. And hopefully it helps me check those grass types. It also provides a pivot. I'm really enjoying the idea of having a lot of pivots on this team to help get my big threats in. I've got to figure out how to play more offensively, and I feel like I did that in LTM with Heracross and Terra Rhydon. Speaking of Terra, there is no Terra allowed this season of BBR. So that's Terra Captains are not something that we have to worry about. But yeah, I want to play more offensively. That's really not my style from past generations. I've definitely played more balance than anything else. I like my fat. I like my bulks. Some of my favorite mons are Clefable and Mew. Those are like two of my top mons. And, Mew is like my all-time kill leader next to like Swellow and Mienshao from Draft League history for me. So I play a lot fatter than this generation. Just everything's so strong now. So it's tough to play that way. You've got to play more offensively. So Cinderace, I thought 119 speed, court change. Why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's try it out. And it's got that nice Protean / Libero ability there too to change types for my U-turn, gunk shots, high jump kicks. We'll see what else it gets to. Pick 3, Keldeo. So this mon, I knew I wanted an offensive water type. I thought about Primarina long and hard with this pick. This was really between Keldeo and Primarina, but Keldeo is something that's familiar to me. And it got better with Flip Turn. So again, this is something that I can click Flip Turn with, or I can click Specs Hydro Pump, Specs Secret Sword, and add more pressure to those grass types that are going to help check my Excadrill. Same thing for those bulky waters. Excadrill does struggle with some bulky waters. Keldeo here helps with that. It helps break those down, put chip on them for my Excadrill to be able to take advantage of that. Keldeo adds a nice speed tier to my team too. Adds some more offense. Like I said, it can flip turn, so I've got 2 pivots here on round 2 and 3 that can just can pivot back and forth and help get each other in. Grass type comes in on that flip turn. Guess who's coming in? Cinderace. Can you turn right back out with that? So I really liked the flexibility that provided. And my next pick also helped decide why I didn't go Primarina as well and consolidate this. My next pick, I dipped in a little early, but I didn't think it would make it back to me for through round 4 and round 5. It was only 8 points, and I thought it was a really good value for what it is because it adds something on my team that can help check some really big threats that are in the Draft League meta right now, and that's Galarian Weezing. So, Levitate obviously has the ability there, has neutralizing gas, but it's also a grounded poison. Gives me toxic spikes, gives me defog. So I have three hazard removals options with my first 4 picks. And something I ran into last season in BBR was my hazard removal was Talonflame. So while I had Urshifu and I had Goldingo and I could pivot around, I was constantly getting spike stacked, and it was just a huge problem. because Talonflame was also my Terra captain, and I ran into wanting to run that more offensively. So I had a lot of problems last season getting spike stacked. Not going to happen this season with all my hazard removal options. We're going to pivot around. We're gonna spike stack others here with T spikes. But yeah, so I picked Galarian Weezing because I'm going to look at this top end of the board again real quick, and I'm just going to throw out some names there. Garchomp, good check to Garchomp there. Great Tusk, and obviously these guys get coverage. They get Iron Head. But I can lure it with a Babiri and wisp them, or I could just kill them back with Strange Theme. I felt like this gave me a lot. This gives me a premier meta game check. Iron Valiant, obviously I know it's Psychic, but again, same thing. I can lure it with the Psychic Resist Berry, Urshifu. This is a great check to Urshifu. So those are like 4 of the top threats. This thing probably takes on Palafin really well too. I don't know if with neutralizing gas if it would stop 0 to hero. I don't know that off the top of my head, but again, Meowscarada, Sneasler, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Annihilate. Like there's a lot of guys that this guy can check. So I wanted to pick up G-Weezing because I thought it was some really good value, and the other pieces to my team. I know I'm going to have to allocate points for my Sandsetter for either Tyranitar or Hippowdon, and there's a couple of other higher tier picks that I want as well, but I had some options on them, as you'll soon see. So for my 5th round pick, I wanted to get something else that would help me break Bulky Water, something else. I've got great hazard removal. I want to be able to pivot around. That was Raikou, and I did snipe some people here with Raikou, so I'm glad I went ahead and picked it up. I was thinking about this, or I was thinking about Thundurus T, but you'll see in these next couple rounds why I decided against another flying type, because I do pick up some flying types here soon. But yeah, I picked up Raikou. I don't think it had Scald back in... No, it definitely did not have Scald back in Gen 7 when I was playing, so got better with that. So, 11 points. I felt like it was good value for an electric type with water coverage. 115 speed, has some really good bulk. Those calm mindsets that can be tricky with pressure. So, excited about using Raikou here too. Again, another pivot. We've got 3 pivots with Cinderace, Raikou, and Keldeo so far. So my team's just going to be pivoting all around and, hopefully breaking the opponent's team. So 6th round pick, ended up picking up Salamence. And this was one of the Pokemon that I felt like would still be there. So I picked up Salamence. That's wrong. It's not 11 points. It was 14 points. So it's wrong on the slot here. So I do remember that much. But I had the option of Dragonite too. Multiscale and Sand, though. It just gave me a little bit of hesitation there on that. So I decided to pick up Salamence because the ability to run it defensively as well with Intimidate. And I really liked the idea of that. It's been a while since I used Salamence. I have won a Wi-Fi championship with Salamence before, though, so I know what it can bring to the table. And I know these are a lot of bonds. Like looking at the board, I know these are a lot of bonds that are more supportive to the overall team and not really the star of the show. But, with where I picked at and really only having the option of, like, Tornadus, I feel like my team is coming together pretty well for where I picked at and what was on the board. I'm comfortable with my team at the moment. I do have some new guys, like I said, with G-Weezing and Cinderace. But right now I've got 4 very familiar Pokemon to me. So I'm hoping I can use that to the old man, bringing the old guys to the new guys show here. So yeah, got Salamence. We know what Salamence brings to the table. Has a massive attack stat. I think it's 135, but it also has a sneaky good special attack stat, 110, 100 base speed, good bulk, and good abilities with Intimidate and Moxie, and just all kinds of coverage. EQ. This definitely gets Iron Tail. I don't know if it gets Iron Head, but all kinds of special coverage. Hurricane, Draco, Fire Blast, Hydro Pump. It gets a lot. So Salamence has the tools to be really, really good in Draft League if it's used well. So pick 7, I felt like this was a really good mon as well. And it's another new guy. It was only 7 points. And just like looking at the draft board, I was like, this guy is really, really good to be 7 points. And that was Galarian Articuno. And I needed a Psychic type. I wanted another Fighting Resist. Because if you're looking at my team, my Fighting Resist is Galarian Weezing. Obviously, my Salamence can resist it as well, but I wanted another Fighting Resist because my plan is still to get Tyranitar at this point. So, Galarian Articuno is really good though, looking at the stats of it. And it gives me another Pokemon that can U-turn as well. Really good Spadef stat. Let me just pull up the stats real quick because I cannot remember them off the top of my head. But it's just really, really well-rounded for 7 points. I was like, this guy is a steal down here. So, I had my eye on it for a long time in the draft. Yeah, I mean, its lowest stat is its attack stat, and that's base 85. So 90 HP, 85 defense, 125 special attack, 100 Spadef, and 95 speed. It's really good. And it gets recovery, because it gets recover. It may not get roost, but it gets recover. It can set screens for me as well. It doesn't have a ton of coverage, but flying psychic coverage is not that bad. Steel types can come in on that, sure, but my team breaks steals really well, and if I happen to predict that and you turn out, then I get to bring in Cinderace or I get to bring in Excadrill on those steel types, and yeah, click buttons. So we'll take it. It doesn't have a lot of coverage, which is probably why it's down there, but like I said, its stab is enough for me. So pick 8. We're kind of rounding out things here. I've got 25 points left on the budget according to this, and I believe that is right, yeah. So I'm not going to take any more chances. I'm not going to roll any more dice on getting stuck with Hippowdon at this point because I definitely need a dark type. And you guessed it, the Tyranitar is here. So round 8, picking up Tyranitar. I felt like I was pretty comfortable leaving it because our points got lowered from 120 to 110 this season. And yeah, I felt like Tyranitar would still be there. So we know what Tyranitar does. Really good. Well, it's like 134 attack. Stealth Rocks has support. Got better with knockoff too. Did not have knockoff back when I was playing. You had to run crunch. But it gets a lot of coverage as well. And it has some flexibility. I think it lost rock polish. I think I was looking and trying to figure out what all these guys kept, what all they didn't. It's tough when you haven't kept up with the metagame for so long. It does still have Dragon Dance, so I have that option. But yeah, rock polish is gone. So it's something to kind of keep in mind there. But I'll trade rock polish for knockoff. Sure. But yeah, we know what it does. It sets the sand for Excadrill. And it's really solid. But Excadrill's not relying on sand either. Mold Breaker's really good. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens this season with Drill. We'll see. So, 11 points left. I really wanted to get to 10 Mons. And as you can see for my team here, we're a little water weak. I like to have a defensive water as well. And I decided to go ahead and pick up Quagsir for my defensive water type. Gives me spikes, obviously gives me unaware, water absorb, being able to come in on water type moves, all really great. You getting spikes this generation is really cool. I think it gets T-spikes now too, which is also just really cool. Quagsir's got a lot better. It's already annoying. In Draft League, it's it's a little bit tougher to bring in Draft League, but it forces the prep. So you've got to respect the unaware Quagsir. So, you can't just set up and try to break through when Quagsir's around. You have to bring the grass coverage for it. So I'll at least like having it there to have that option. And if I do want to bring it, I'm probably bringing spikes or T-spikes on it. I'm going to try to stack you. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I like Quag though. So 3 points left. I don't have a grass type. This pick was going to be Lurantis or Meganium. just because I like Meganium. I like its design. I've never drafted it before. It looks awful, but, I like its design. And I know that's unpopular, but I'm a big Heart Gold Soul Silver fan to Owen's constant criticism. But I got talked out of that, and I went Lurantis, and then I got talked out of that after I made the pick, but before someone else picked, so I changed it to take advantage of this guy, Appleton. So 3-point Appleton. Once I started really looking at its stats, it's significant. I mean, that guy it's pretty fat, thick fat. First of all, just nullifying that ice weakness. But let's pull up this guy's bulk. I know it's 30 speed. I remember that 30 speed, 110 HP, 80 defense, 80 speed def. That is fat. And then 100 special attack is no joke either. But that move Apple Acid, low in Spadef, just, really is nice. And just looking at it, it gets a lot of cool sets. So, it's going to be a fun one to try out here. I thought Lurantis would be cool. And, yeah, I got talked into Appleton by Leo. So, we'll see how it does this season. I need a ground resist anyways. So, a ground and water. But, yeah. Anyways, guys, this is the team. I know there's not a huge threat on this team, but I feel like there's multiple threats. There's not a top threat, but you've got to prep for Drill. You've got to prep for Cinderace. You've got to prep for Keldeo. You've got to prep for Salamence. You've got to prep for Tyranitar. You've got to prep for Raikou. I feel like there's a lot of threats on the team. I have a lot of different options this season to be able to go through teams. I have a lot of pivoting. I have a lot of mons with U-turn, flip turn, volt switch. So I plan on trying to use that. I plan on trying to keep hazards off the field with spin and court change and defog. And I plan on just trying to get in my threats and just break through teams this season. We have Kurt week 1. Kurt's a long-time friend. It's a guy I've known for, since probably 2016, 2017 when the APA started. So, crazy here 8 years later, here we are still playing. But I have him week 1. I know he's improved a whole lot from back when we used to play. We've played a lot over the years. Who knows what the all-time record is, but I'm excited to get to play him on Wi-Fi. And if it's the last time we play, hopefully it's a good one. We can go out on a good one. But I do have a tougher schedule. I'm just looking at some of the people that I played this season. I play John again. I play Owen again. So definitely going to be looking for some revenge against them in particular. Play D-Ray again. I definitely want some revenge there. I didn't perform well at BBR last season. And hopefully this team here provides me a little bit more familiarity to help perform on that one. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate your support this season. Hopefully you guys at least enjoyed the LTM run. I know I did. I plan on joining that again just to kick us back off. But yeah, we're back. I'm enjoying playing again a whole lot. And yeah, thank y'all for the support. Catch y'all later.